Hello and welcome to Sports Fan Entertainment. Here to recap the Tennessee Titans versus the Houston Texans Week 15 matchup. Excuse my voice this morning or this afternoon now. Oh boy. Didn't I tell y'all? Didn't I tell y'all exactly what was going to happen? Exactly. It was my greatest fear and for good reason. I told you all last week when I joined the train, when I joined the bandwagon, that this is what was going to happen. Whenever I join the party, whenever I come on board, the ship is going to go down. The train is going to go off the rail. Things are going to go wrong. I don't know why, but for some reason, I am just bad luck, people. I'm bad news. Because whenever I get involved, things go wrong. What happened today was our luck ran out. That's what happened to me today. The Houston Texans did not prove that they're a better team than us today. That did not happen today. That is not what happened today. Our luck ran out. And I knew this was going to happen. And I was really afraid about it. And I kept saying it week after week after week. And I said it after Jacksonville. I said it after Kansas City. I said, okay, we blocked the Kansas City field goal. Cool, that's some good luck. I said it after Indianapolis. We blocked that field goal, returned it for a touchdown. That's great. But what's going to happen is the luck is going to turn around soon. I hope we make the playoffs before then, or I hope that we can actually go all the way and win the Super Bowl before that happens. But it happened today. The other team got the blocked field goal. The other team had one of our players give the ball away to them, and they almost returned it for a touchdown. Things turned around in this game for us. It's just too much to ask for you to go from 2-4 to potentially being 11-5 and making the playoffs. It's just too much to ask, especially with this schedule. If we were facing the Cincinnati Bengals, the Miami Dolphins, if we were in the NFC East, that's not too much to ask. But when you're facing the Texans and the Saints and the Colts and the Chiefs, it's a lot to ask. Now, we are still alive in this thing. And it's all going to come down to next week. All of it is on the line next week. We are still alive in this playoff race right now. But this is what I feared. Our luck finally ran out. It just ran out. That's what happened today. The Texans did not prove they were the better team today. I'm pretty sure we outgained them. Let me check the yardage right now. But Deshaun Watson and Ryan Tannehill were close in passing yards. And I think Tannehill threw for more passing yards than he did. Tannehill threw for 279, and then Deshaun Watson threw for 243. We ran for 163 yards. They ran for 140. We outgained them. We moved the football more than them. Our defense made more plays than them. But they made the bigger play, and they got the blocked field goal, and our special teams is a disaster. And just specifically when it comes to our field goal unit, let me specifically say that. Our field goal unit is a disaster. Ryan Succop stinks. And Mike Vrabel was just on the press conference, and he opened his press conference by saying that there's an opening question. It was regarding the decision of LaShawn Sims to bring that ball out when, near the 1 yard line. He got it to the 10, could have let the ball go for a touchback. Not really relevant, but he got really frustrated, started yelling about that, and then started saying, when it comes to the Ryan Succop block field goal, I need to look at what happened. I need to look at the protection. I need to look at this, and that. What are you talking about? Look at the damn play. Ryan Succop kicked that ball too low. You cannot kick that ball 7 feet high. Ridiculous. You can't do that. You can't, not in this league. In college football, maybe. Even then, no. Even in college football, you cannot kick that ball 7 feet high. That ball was 7 feet high. That defensive lineman just had his hand. He didn't jump. Just got a little hand up. Didn't even get it up that high. It was probably like around here, said, get that thing out of here. Now, you can say that the blocking unit should, push them back a little bit to allow for that ball to gain some air. You can say that if you want to, bro, but that ball was too low. Go back and watch it again. It was too low. Ryan Succop is done. Maybe he needs an off season to recover, but he's done. That's just the deal with Ryan Succop right now. So Ryan Succop, that block field goal, and the Anthony Firkser, it's technically an interception, but the Anthony Firkser drop, right? I guess we call it a drop. The Anthony Firkser drop, but it honestly is a fumble, if anything. But, by the rules, okay, it's a drop. The Anthony Firkser drop, those two plays is what really lost us the game. That's what allowed the Texans to go and get the 24-14 lead that they had. And by the time we got to the second half, we were already down 14-0. That first drive in the second half, 9.5 minutes. Got the touchdown, 9.5 minutes, limiting the amount of possessions we're going to have in the second half. And the Texans are going to score in that second half. They scored twice in that second half, 100%. So if you're expecting for the Texans to just go quietly into the dust, go quietly into the sun, that's not going to happen. So the game was just lost early to me here. We still had a chance to come back. We've been a second half team all year. But by the time you got in the middle of that third quarter, that drive took 9.5 minutes, and the score was 14-7. You knew the Texans were going to score again. At least I did. I knew the Texans were going to score again. So we were going to have to score at least 2 more times, and it was just too much to ask. The luck was just not on our side today. And you even saw at the very end of the game, we're not going to do anything with 1 second left, but there should have been 1 second left on that clock. There should have been 1 second left on that play clock. 100% on that game clock. The refs didn't care. They said, let's go home. I'm tired. Let's go home. I'm out. See you later. Bye. We're gone. I went, no 1 second for you. So it was just unfortunate. We are still alive in this thing. Let's get more into the game, and we'll get more into playoff scenarios later. So, yeah, you look at the first quarter, though, things were, when we allow the Texans to drive, and our defense, it's just not elite. I don't even know if it's good anymore with these injuries. I don't think our defense is particularly good. Look, Jurrell Casey, people need to call him out. Look, I like Jurrell Casey. He's still a good player in this league. He's not the game changer he once was. He needs to be making more plays. 1 tackle. One and one alone today from Jurrell Casey. He's supposed to be our best offensive player. He's not. He's top 3. Maybe 4. Because I'll argue Kevin Byard is number 1. I'll argue number 2 is Harold Landry. I'd argue 3 might be Jayon. Actually, maybe 2 might be Jayon Brown, and then 3 might be Harold Landry. Before it's Jurrell Casey this year. He's just not making that many plays. That's just the deal. And then Jeffrey Simmons, who I love, he's ascending. And he had the tipped ball today. He's making plays. He's energetic. He's making moves. He's doing things. I can't say that about Jurrell Casey right now. This defense is just not, I don't think it's very good at all. It was great to start the season. Now, we weren't facing great offenses, but you know what? Holding the Bills to 14, in hindsight, is actually pretty impressive. Who else did we hold? Holding the early Colts offense with Jacoby Brissett and T.Y. Hilton when they were as healthy as they were, holding them to 19 with the issues we were having offensively was pretty impressive. Holding the Browns early in the season was pretty impressive. This defense now, I don't know what happened. I know we're having some injuries. Adoree Jackson, I know Malcolm, I know. It should not have gone this bad. It just should not have. This is really bad right now. Our defense is looking like, honestly, maybe bad is a strong word. I don't want to say it's a bad defense, but it's mediocre. It's a mediocre defense right now. It can make some plays. It'll make some plays. You have some interceptions here or there, but we're not consistently stopping the run. Carlos Hyde stinks. And the fact that he had over 100 yards today is ridiculous. So Carlos Hyde got over 100 yards. Deshaun Watson, DeAndre Hopkins moved the ball at will. You saw these Kenny Still touchdowns were incredibly easy. This is just not a good defense right now. It's just not. So the defense, I don't know where it went, but it's gone. Adoree Jackson and Malcolm Butler, look how valuable that they are indeed, because apparently whenever they're out, that's it. And I think it all really stems from the fact that we do not get enough pressure and movement up front. I just think up front we're just not getting enough movement up there. I think up front we're not getting enough movement, enough push, enough power, enough veracity up front. Jeffrey Simmons is providing some of that. Casey is not. I'm sorry. I know we love Jurrell Casey. He's not bringing it. He's not bringing it at the level we've seen him capable of. This is not the Jurrell Casey that I fell in love with. Daquan Jones, we already know we're not getting much from him. He'll be all right against the run, but we're not going to get much from him, right? Especially against the pass. Forget about that. We know about Isaiah Mack, he's just, he's been a backup guy. Maybe he can ascend to being something, but we're not going to expect much from him. So we're just not getting much up front. The linebackers are fine, but Harold Landry, he's the best pass rusher we got. Kamil Correa had a sack today, but he's a rotational pass rusher. Sharif Finn's a rotational pass rusher. There's just not enough playmakers up front. I think if there were, the cornerbacks would be fine, because Logan Ryan is not a shutdown corner. I want us to re-sign him. He struggled today. He's not a shutdown corner in this league, right? So, but I do believe, with better pressure, he'd look great. Kenny Vaccaro had an interception today, a great interception today. I'm pretty sure he could pick off more balls with a better up front. I think, Kevin Byard would get even more. Look how many interceptions he had in 2017, okay? With a better presence up front. The presence was better up front then than it is now. Harold Landry is the only consistent pass rusher now. This is the case. How many sacks did Jurrell Casey have on this season? Now, let me look up that. Because Jurrell Casey is a guy that, look, he's actually had, I think, a 10-sack season. But you're not expecting him to have a 10-sack season. But we need 8. We need 8 from Jurrell Casey. That's what we need. Regular season this year, 3. He's had 3 sacks this year. We need more than that. We need more than that from Jurrell Casey. How much he's getting paid? He's getting paid over $10 million a year. We need more from Jurrell Casey in terms of that up front. And that 10.5 sack season was 2013. He had 3 sacks this year. 2016 he had 5. This is looking at his stats, this is a lower and a light year for him, and it's just a little frustrating because we need more of a presence up front. So offensively, though, you look offensively, Tannehill had his struggles today. I'm not blaming Tannehill for this game though at all. He did have some struggles though. You saw some issues with him. You saw some Mariota-like issues with him. He was sitting in the pocket for a while. The sacks he took today. Let me see how many sacks he took. He took 2 sacks, and one was at the very end of the game. So I'm not really going to count that one. But the other sack he took was 100% on him. He almost had a sack where he pushed the ball out, but he was sitting in that pocket today for a while. And luckily, the offensive line was protecting better, so that's fine. But, he was sitting in that pocket for a while. That was one thing that I will actually criticize him about. He missed some throws, but, nothing out of the ordinary. Tannehill has no blame today. Then the interception was obviously not on him. That's all on Anthony Ferguson. Derrick Henry, he's banged up. And, you can just see how unfortunate it is when we do not have running back depth behind him. We try to run Deion Lewis a couple times, but actually we ran Jonnu Smith. How about Jonnu Smith, the Texans killer, 57-yard run, the longest actual run by tight end apparently since, I don't even know when they said, but Jim Nantz was saying the longest run by tight end since 1947 when my father was born. He said something ridiculous like that. So Jonnu Smith had a great run. But you just saw, not having a nice, viable backup running back. What happened? When Derrick Henry got a little banged up, there was no answer for us, and our offense stalled. I will say this. This is a great bright spot, and to me, it's the bright spot of the season. A lot of people will be Tannehill, and if we keep him, that's fine. It's A.J. Brown. Bro, we have a number 1 wide receiver in Tennessee. A real number 1 legitimate ascending star in the NFL at wide receiver. The Tennessee Titans have that. This is incredible. Can you believe this? I have not been this joyful watching a player on this team in a while. A.J. Brown. Oh my goodness, it's electric, baby. This guy continues to make plays. Tannehill missed one of the few throws that he missed today. It was thrown behind A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown said, okay, cool, bro. Grabbed the ball behind him, kept on running for the first down. A.J. Brown is a stud. He is an ascending star. As I told you, he is Juju Smith-Schuster. That's what he is. That's who you compare him to, bro. He's Kenny Britt if Kenny Britt actually cared. If Kenny Britt actually cared. If he actually cared about his NFL career, about himself as a person, as a human being living on this planet, it's A.J. Brown. And I'm loving the fact this was my number one wide receiver. Oh, I can't believe we got him and we got him. That is the bright spot. Look, if nothing else this year, woo, we have something in A.J. Brown. And I'll tell you this, Tannehill missed, another thing Tannehill messed up on, Tannehill missed Corey Davis. Because Corey Davis was actually getting separation today. There were a number of times where Corey Davis was open or about to be open, creating separation. He's still a strong route runner. And Tannehill didn't look his way. He looked to A.J. Brown before he looked to Corey Davis. And I understand that because Brown is a more talented commodity right now. But Corey Davis is still legit, people. We have a nice duo right here at wide receiver. Now, I don't know where Adam Humphries. Oh, I think he was out. Oh, so never mind. But, outside of, those two, we still have some work to do in the wide receiver core. Humphries can stay. He's going to stay on his contract. So that's fine. But look at the duo in Davis and A.J. Brown. I'm telling you, this was absolutely fantastic. Did I mess something up in my, in my stats? I think I wrote that Derrick Henry had 121 carries. Yeah, that's not right. He only had 21 carries. Let me fix that. But yeah, so A.J. Brown, Corey Davis, I love that duo right now. It's absolutely fantastic. If anything this season we look at, we can say, okay, we got that done. So you look at the Texans, because I know there might be some Texans fans watching this. Congratulations, you won the game. If there's nothing else, you can say that you won the game. If I were you, I would not feel that proud of this performance. It was a good performance. You guys played well. You guys played smarter than we played. That's fine. But I would not feel that, okay, we're headed to a Super Bowl because of this. I would not feel confident in us beating the Kansas City Chiefs, or more likely who you probably will face would be like the Bills or the Steelers in the first round. You can beat them. But then moving on to the next round and beating the Patriots or the Ravens, I think you can beat the Patriots. The Patriots right now, they're nothing. They actually struggled for the first time against the Cincinnati Bengals. The Patriots, nothing. You beat them 2 weeks ago. So that's fine. The Ravens, if you guys go up against them, forget about it. You're not beating the Baltimore Ravens. That's just not what's going to happen. But you look at this wide receiver too, and DeAndre Hopkins trio, and DeAndre Hopkins, Will Fuller, and Kenny Stills. It's such a strong trio. And I'm thinking about our wide receiver duo. But you guys have a legitimate trio there. And, continue to make plays with them, man. And how about Zach Cunningham? Zach Cunningham today was fantastic. Zach Cunningham today, the former Vanderbilt Commodore, and also Akari Blasingame, the former Vanderbilt Commodore. Zach Cunningham was fantastic today, making all kinds of plays, flying around, doing everything he could. He was absolutely terrific today, so that is absolutely the MVP defensively. Zach Cunningham was a beast. So now we look into playoff scenarios, and now we try to be hopeful here as we look into playoff scenarios. So your analytics can tell you whatever you want. Let me tell you what my percentage is. I'll give you the MJ analytic right now. The MJ percentage chance that the Tennessee Titans make the playoffs. If you would have told me before today, I would have told you 55%. Today, I'm telling you, and this is before the Steelers game, right? And that's a very big thing. I'm going to say 30%. Because what's going to need to happen, we either need, and this is a lot of stuff. So let's start with the AFC South, okay? Let's still worry about the AFC South for now, then we get into the wild card in a moment. So for the AFC South, next week the Houston Texans travel to Tampa Bay, where they face the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are now 7-7, performing very well lately, actually. That's a 50-50 game. If you ask me today, I have the Bucs winning that game. So I'll say it's a 51-49 game. I like the Bucs in that game, just by a hair. If the Texans win that, game over. Texans win the division. We need the Texans to lose that game. We face the New Orleans Saints. Now, if you would ask me before today, I would have thought, hey, that's a 50-50 game, and I still think it is. I just feel a little less confident about it, but it's still about a 50-50 game. We'll see how the Saints perform today. In fact, who do the Saints play today? I have no idea who the Saints play today. I completely forgot, but I think it's someone irrelevant, so I don't really care. we'll see on that one. We do show up against these very strong teams, but the Saints are one of the best teams in the NFL. So you're asking, let's say both, to make the math simple. Let's make the math simple. That's 50-50 both sides. So the chances of both things happening, right, the 50% this way and the 50% that way, 25%. There's only a 25% chance that the things that we need to go our way next week go our way next week. 25% chance total. Encompassing the 50% of the Texans losing and the 50% of the Titans winning. That is, and some people in the chat are saying right now they're facing the Colts tomorrow. Okay, exactly. I don't really care what happens, but hey, it's nice it's a Monday night football game, so hopefully they'll be a little, jet lagged and whatnot from only having 6 days rest and the coming international. So actually, that actually improves our odds a little bit. So only a 25% chance that things go our way. Then the week after, we go to Houston, and that game would be for the AFC South Championship in this 25% chance route. Okay, so in this 25% route, in this 25% tree, in this 25% branch, that game would be for the AFC South. And again, that'd be 50-50 to me. Because again, I don't think the Texans put that they were the better team today. So that puts our odds at 12.5% to win the AFC South. That's how I see it. We can disagree on that. Maybe you think it's a 70% chance the Titans beat the Saints. Maybe you think it's an 80%. Let's make the math easy. And let's say it's a 12.5% chance that the Titans win the AFC South because it's 50-50 all the way. All three of those. To me. Then we look at the AFC wild card. And the number one competitor is the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, there is a chance that the Bills lose out. But let's not really consider that because the Bills face, I want to say, the Jets again or the Dolphins. One of the two, and they're going to win that game. So forget about it. So you look at the AFC wild card, and you look at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, they have 2 less losses in the conference than we do. So we need them to lose 2 more conference games in the next 3 weeks, including this week, in the next 3 games. Tonight, they face the Buffalo Bills. I expect them to lose this game. And I actually like that. I think 65% chance the Bills win that game. Then, next week, I want to say they go to New York to face the New York Jets. I don't like our odds there. I think they win that one. And then the biggest problem is week 17, they face the Ravens. And you say, well, the Ravens have our back. The Ravens are going to beat the Pittsburgh Steelers, no problem. But wait a minute. Are the Ravens going to be playing for anything in that game? No, sir. With the Patriots losing to the Chiefs last week, with the Ravens winning this Thursday, with the Patriots winning today, if the Ravens win next week, they have the number 1 seed wrapped up. The Steelers will face a Ravens team week 17 that will be benching their starters. That's a win. Mike Tomlin is going to get that win if the playoffs is on the line. So I think, if you ask me right now, the wild card is less likely. But the one thing that actually might help us today, but this only happens if the Steelers lose tonight and then lose to either the Jets or the Ravens. So if the Texans win next week in Tampa Bay, guess what they're doing week 17? They're benching their starters. And that week 17 game will not be for the AFC South Championship, but it will be a win and get in for us. And for the Texans, win and maybe get the 3rd seed. And I don't think that's even going to be on the line because I think the Chiefs are going to win out. And the Chiefs will have that 3rd seed locked up by then. So there's one shot where we face a Texans team who's benching their starters week 17. Probably a Steelers team that's facing the Ravens without their starters week 17. And then we'd have to hope for a Steelers loss, and then we'd hopefully get in. So that's the scenario. That's another scenario. And I said 12.5% for the Titans winning the AFC South. This scenario, yeah, I don't know. I think giving it like 18% is a little high, but I'll give it 18%. So that's about 30%. That's what I'm feeling. We'll see. But, today hurt. And I said a couple weeks ago, I thought it was very premature for us to just assume we're going to beat the Texans. Oh, we're hosting the Texans, we'll beat the Texans. No problem. Let's just move on to the next game. Let's just go ahead and check that off. Win against the Texans in Nashville. No, we have a problem with this team. I know we beat them last year with Blaine Gabbert. We have a problem against the Houston Texans. We can't beat them easily. So, it's going to be interesting. And again, as we get closer and closer, these things will tighten up, no pun intended. Things will narrow in, and we'll be able to really tell what the scenarios will be. But you can already see how things are going to go over the upcoming weeks. But without a doubt, next week is a must-win. Everything is on the line. We need the most from Ryan Tannehill. We need the most from Derrick Henry. We need the most from this defense. We need the most from this coaching staff. We need the most. And one thing on the coaching staff that I did miss, I don't understand why Mike Vrabel went for it on that 4th down at the end of the first half. Now, luckily, the Texans didn't score anyway, so fine. But y'all do realize we're so aggressive for nothing. Like, let's say we were getting 50%, even 40%, even 30% of these aggressive calls. Let's say we were getting 30% of them right. Bad number. 50%, okay, good number. That's what you expect. We're not even getting 20%. I feel like we're probably 15% with these aggressive calls. For the first time last week on that 4th and 1, Derrick Henry actually got it. Other than that, we keep going for it here, there, everywhere, and failing. These designs are horrible. They don't work. What's the point in being aggressive for nothing? It never works. We just shoot ourselves in the foot time and time again. So I don't understand, but whatever. It didn't really matter. I'm not gonna harp on it. But it's just so funny to me how we keep doing these aggressive calls. Let's be aggressive here. Let's be aggressive there. And every single time it fails. It's like, what's the point? We just keep shooting ourselves in the foot for nothing. But anyway. So with that said, I'm going to move on to the chat. If you have anything that you want me to answer, at me at SportsFan Entertainment. And remember, I'll be back on Thursday to preview the New Orleans Saints versus the Tennessee Titans, and we'll delve more into that game then. But yeah, an unfortunate loss. We're still in it. We're still alive. I do believe that the Bucs will beat the Texans next week. I think we'll beat the Saints this week, although if you really had to put a gun to my head right now, I think I'd pick the Saints. But I do think we'll beat the Saints next week. Actually, no, I really do think we'll beat the Saints next week because they are missing some players on their defensive line right now. Sheldon Rankins, Marcus Davenport, etc. I think we're going to run the ball better this week than we did. I think we're going to run the ball better next week than we did this week. And that's something to look out for. So, yeah. So, again, if you have any questions for me, at me at SportsFan Entertainment. I did see one comment that I can go ahead and read right now. QWERTY, UIOP 123459993. 123453993 actually. He says thoughts on possibly hiring Ron Rivera. No way. They're keeping Mike Vrabel. They're keeping Arthur Smith. They're keeping everyone. Everyone's coming back except for Dean Pease unless he retires. Call Me Beast says at Sports Fan Entertainment, you kind of look like Jacoby Brissett. I don't know if that's a compliment or an insult. I don't like Jacoby Brissett, so I think it's an insult. But, okay, sure, why not? Tyson Williams says, at Sports Fan Entertainment, so you're saying you're a Bills fan for tonight? Yeah. Although it's weird because, again, there is a scenario where the Bills lose out, but it is less likely. So, yeah, I guess I'm a Bills fan tonight. Yeah, go Bills. Josh Allen, yay. Frank Gore, yeah, let's do it, yeah. All right, Mikey Low 23 says, at Sports Fan Entertainment, you think RG3 can beat the Steelers if we needed it? I do think it's possible. Don't get me wrong. I just don't see any way how Mike Tomlin coached team, especially the team and how they're playing right now, will not beat a Ravens starter-less team. They competed against the Ravens with Lamar Jackson on the field. With Lamar Jackson on the field, with Mark Ingram on the field, with all of them on the field, they competed. So week 17, if it came down to it, I really believe that that Texas team would win. Okay, please don't spam the chat, but I hoop, actually, no, even before that, Brandon SEO11 says, as sports fan entertainment, did you see the Terrell Suggs to the Titans report? What are your thoughts on that? No, I did not see that. However, I would take it. Although I really would have loved it before this game, as we only had, I think, 1 sack on Deshaun Watson today, so I would have loved it before this game. But, I mean, he could absolutely add some veteran leadership to the locker room. I do think he is a little washed, to be honest with you, but I think he'd be a nice presence, a great presence. So I'd really love to see it. I'd really be down for it. So let's see. I Hoop says, again, don't spam the chat, but he says, as sports fan entertainment, do you think the Rams are going to win out and make the playoffs? No. And, you know, they won last week, which I did not have. However, they need the Vikings to lose a game, which they probably will not lose. And that would either be this game against the LA Chargers, or I think they face the Bears again. And I'm pretty sure they face the Lions. And they're probably not going to lose those. So they host the Packers next week, and then they face the Bears. And I'm pretty sure they have a tiebreaker over the Rams. Correct me if I'm wrong. And then the Rams, let's see what the Rams schedule is. Oh, and the Rams are down right now, 0-7 to the Dallas Cowboys. I expect the Rams to come back because the Cowboys are just not a very good team to me right now. Whereas the Rams, they go up against the 49ers next weekend. This season will be over then. The 49ers will handle business next week in what is that a Thursday? That's not a Thursday game. It's a Saturday game. What is a Saturday night football game? And I expect the business to be taken care of then. We look at the other questions. Tyson Williams said, Bills Mafia, but you were close. Minecraft God 69 says, as sports fan entertainment, the Jets were able to put up 21 on the Ravens. I believe they can beat the Steelers easily, especially if Jamal Adams plays. Bro, that was garbage time. The game was over. The game was literally over when the Jets were putting up those last touchdowns. That was absolute garbage time. Do not bet on that. Jay Rice says, as sports fan entertainment, the healthier team won today, and we are in desperate need of a pass rusher. I mean, are we the healthier team? They're missing J.J. freaking Watt. I mean, that's a pretty big injury if you ask me. And on their offensive line, they've had some injuries. I guess we're slightly more banged up, but not by much. I don't bother the healthier team won today. I mean, they're missing J.J. freaking Watt. And they traded away. Yeah, that doesn't really count as health, though. Never mind. I just think, but in terms of us being in desperate need of a pass rusher, yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I've said that. I think we need someone opposite of Harold Landry, so I definitely agree with that. Ryan Marketel says, as sports fan entertainment, do you think Henry will ever recover from this hamstring injury? It seems like he keeps playing. If he keeps playing, it won't go away. Well, yeah, I mean, honestly, it looks like one of those that's just going to continue to linger until you can really rest it in the off season, or at least for a number of weeks, which is just not a scenario which is really possible right now. So I do think it's going to be a little pervasive. I do think it's going to be, something that remains an issue and something that we're going to have to continue to watch and look out for, which is very unfortunate because we're in need of him for a playoff run. So yeah, I do think you're right on that. I think it's going to continue to linger and be a bit of an issue, and that's really unfortunate right now. iHoop says, as sport fan entertainment, do you think that the Seahawks are contenders and the heart in the NFC? Contenders, yes. Do I have them winning? Well, actually, if you asked me a couple weeks ago, I did have them winning. Right now, no. I think it's the 49ers that will ultimately win the NFC. Are they contenders? Well, absolutely. Because although they will lose their occasional game, and although they're actually competing against every single team in this league, even the worst of them, they almost lost to the Bengals at home. Although beat in September, they still almost did. The fact that Russell Wilson is so good in close games, they can beat anyone any given week. I do think that's going to catch up to them, though, and I think the 49ers will take care of business in the playoffs, but that is something to look out for. And Matthew Garola says the Redskins lost you $1,100, and yeah, right before I got on this live stream, I'm watching the Redskins, who I have plus 4.5, and they're down by 4 points. And they're driving down the field, and there's only 6 seconds left at the 43-yard line, 43-ish. The game's over. Dwayne Haskins throws the ball backwards. It's recovered by the Eagles and returned for a touchdown. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Anyway, Nick Holcomb says, at Sports Fan Entertainment, who do you think is the wild card in the AFC and NFC? Who's there right now? The Bills, the Steelers in the AFC, the NFC, the Seahawks, and the Vikings. I mean, they have substantial leads, both of them, especially the Vikings and the Seahawks right now. Bills and Steelers specifically not so much, but they're in a good position right now. They face the Jets and they face a Ravens team week 17, which I don't think is going to care. So I think what we're looking at right now is what we're going to get. I Hoop says, as Sports Fan Entertainment, why do you think James Harden is being compared to Kobe Bean Bryant? Because people don't remember Kobe Bean Bryant for some reason. And people want to hate on Kobe Bean Bryant. Kobe Bryant is a 9-time All-NBA defensive first team. 9. Do not put James Harden in his sentence. I'm not even talking about the championship. Let's go ahead and add on the 5 rings that Kobe Bryant has. The fact that Kobe Bryant can lead a team to a championship and James Harden can't even lead a team to the finals, bro. They're not even in the same sentence, bro. What are we talking about when people talk about James Harden and Kobe Bryant in the same sentence? The only reason they're in the same sentence is because James Harden is the best shooting guard now and Kobe Bryant is one of the best shooting guards ever and the most recent shooting guard who was the best shooting guard in the NBA before James Harden. Maybe Dwayne Wade, but no, because honestly, I would probably take Kobe 2012 and 13 over Wade, to be honest with you. 14, probably, and then by 2014, it was James Harden by then. So yeah, Kobe passed the torch in terms of being the best shooting guard in the league from him to James Harden, so that's why they're in the same sentence. But other than that, they're not in the same sentence. James Harden is Tracy McGrady. Well, I mean, he's not in terms of play style. I'm just saying in terms of being like an outstanding scorer of his time, a beast, but can't lead his team anywhere. He's Tracy McGrady in terms of that. Like, he's a modern day Tracy McGrady. A little bit better, but honestly about the same. He's a modern day Tracy to me. Wait, I love Tracy McGrady, but he is what it is. All right, Mikey Low 23 says, as Sport Fan Entertainment, we need to run more go routes for Davis when he has a one-on-one matchup and let him catch it at the high point like he did in college. I mean, again, Davis is winning routes, people. People think that Corey Davis isn't winning routes, that he's just, running around, not doing anything. This is ridiculous. This is absurd. He is running around and he's getting open. He's creating separation consistently. I don't know why he and Ryan Tanner aren't on the same page, but Corey Davis he's still running great routes. He needs to get more looks. I absolutely do agree with that. 6_ the boy 6 says, Deion Lewis scored a touchdown today. Yeah, I can't even believe it. But it was in garbage time, or at least close to garbage time, so who cares? All right. Who also says, as Sports Fan Entertainment, why do the Lions suck? Because Matthew Stafford is out. And without Matthew Stafford, they can't do anything. And we've always known that. Minecraft God 69 says, as Sports Fan Entertainment, the talent gap now is higher than what Kobe had to face. True, I will grant. However, come on. He was a 9-time All-NBA defensive team. 9. We were thinking if Kobe Bryant had Chris Paul, period. He didn't even need Chris Paul and no one else. Just Chris Paul, period. He'd win the NBA championship 3 years. That's what we were thinking in 2010. Just give him Chris Paul, period. You don't need Chris Paul and Powell. You don't need Chris Paul and Lamar. You don't need Chris Paul. Just give him Chris Paul, period. James Harden had Chris Paul. James Harden had Russ Westbrook. James Harden had Kevin Durant. No. Not the same. Not the same. Modern day Tracy McGrady. He is what he is. Great scorer. Fantastic scorer. Can't lead his team nowhere. All right. Or at least not even to the NBA Finals. Not to the NBA Finals. Anyway. Eric Villa says, as Sports Fan Entertainment, why do you call Carlos Hyde trash if he got over 1,000 yards? Well, that's news to me. I didn't know he had over 1,000 yards, but he's not a good runner. I mean, he's a fine running back, but he's replaceable. He is what he is. There's a reason why he went from the 49ers now to the Texans. And what team was he on before the Texans? Wasn't there another team that snuck in there? Oh, yeah, the Cleveland Browns. There's a reason why he went from San Francisco to Cleveland to Houston, and now he's finally doing something for the first time. He's not that good. Okay, that's just, he's a replaceable running back in this league. Replaceable starting running back. There's a lot of NBA questions. Would T-Mac win a championship if he stayed on the Raptors with Vince Carter? Possibly. But I would just have to see how they actually play together continuing in their careers, because the fit would have been a little weird. Because they are true shooting guards, true two guards. And it would have been interesting to see how that, especially, they would have had to go up against the Lakers, the Spurs, etc., if they even made the finals, which I think that they would. But yeah, that would have been interesting. I think they probably would not have, but I would have to see it. All right, so with that said, we're going to end things here. Again, I will be back on Thursday for Tighten Up Thursdays. And again, this was an unfortunate loss for us. A loss that definitely hurt. And, it's a vicious cycle with the Tennessee Titans. You get your hopes up, you get disappointed, you get your hopes up, you get disappointed. We're not out of it yet. Now give us a 30% shot. And we're going to deal with the Saints this Thursday. So again, thank you for joining me for this post-game recap. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like the video. If you liked the content, make sure to subscribe as well if you haven't already. Until next time, this has been MJ of Sports Fan Entertainment. Oh, and a super chat just came, so let me address that. Ian says, still don't understand why Vrabel took our timeouts when he did. Yeah, I don't really get it either, although I don't think it really mattered, but, that's just Mike Vrabel for you. Until next time, this has been MJ of Sports Fan Entertainment, and I'm out. See you all later.